Hey guys, how you doing? Lionel here with my second attempt at a TED Talk video. Um, I'm gonna have to make this short and sweet because it seems like we're having big issues trying to upload. I don't know if it's file size or what, but I'm trying a different format here using my MacBook. So we'll see what happens. My example I'm going to use. I sort of ran my own business not several years ago, doing guitar repairs and setups and modifications, i.e., installing electronics and the like. Something I've been enjoyed doing for many years. Never really planned on doing it for a living. I still don't do it for a living, but it was kind of a hobby I had, and I turned it into a small business. I don't run the business anymore just because I don't have time. But I still tinker with my own guitars. You can see in the background here, I've got a few, and I still do work for friends and the like. So. The way I started is early in my Navy career here in Virginia Beach. I spent a lot of time in bars, as lots of us do. And I befriended a bunch of local musicians that play in local bands and stuff, and still close friends to this day. And I'd already been tinkering with guitars for years, and so I kind of saw an opportunity. So I started hanging out with these bands and advertising at local bars using flyers and business cards that I printed up using my own at-home printer, and so that was sort of my advertising as far as how I advertised. You know, I didn't take out any ads or anything like that. I used flyers and word of mouth. I kind of became known here locally as the guitar fixer guy with all the bands, and um, seemed to work out pretty good. You know, again, I wasn't doing it for a living. It was just some extra cash for me. It was typically enough to cover my bar tab. But again, with the flyers, and then as far as promoting the product or service that I was selling, I would just show my face at these shows and introduce myself to guys and be friendly um, and again during the conversation, hey, here's my business card. If you have any guitar work you need done, give me a call. As far as pricing, I had flat rates for a lot of the basic, like a standard guitar setup, which is just adjustments. If the neck, there's ways to adjust the neck. Try not to make this into a guitar repair class, but again, I'd honed my skills over the years by tinkering with my own personal instruments and reading books and literature that was available. There's a lot of books out there by Dan Erlewine, who's a world-class guitar repair luthier, I believe is what they call him. But he does repairs for vintage, $30,000 vintage Gibson guitars. When Gibson can't get them fixed, they send them to Dan. So he's got a lot of books out there. He's kind of the industry standard when it comes to guitar repair, and along with his books and tutorials over the years, I developed some of my own techniques as far as I'm also an avid woodworker, and so understanding how wood works and using glues and different types of glues and epoxies and understanding how all that works has helped. And I didn't have to invest too much. My investment was basically paper and ink to print out the flyers. All the tools required I already had, just kind of being a guy that likes to, build stuff and tinker with guitars and the like. I'd already had everything I needed. But I mean, if I had to start from scratch with nothing, I'd probably invest somewhere in the neighborhood of, $1,000 to $2,000 in not just tools, but a proper bench with certain calling. It's hard for me to explain what that is, but to be able to stabilize the guitar as you're working on it requires certain. I call it a calling, but I'm not sure what the right term it is, and I don't have any examples here with me. Apologies for that, but so not too much of a startup cost. I mean, if I had a storefront, I'm sure I'd have had to pay a ton of money, but I didn't go that route. Again, it was more of a hobby for me, but I did have a business license. I never, I never really quite figured out how to do the tax part of it. But I don't think I generated enough revenue to worry the IRS. I mean, um, I kept my clientele really small because I didn't want, I was running the business out of my house. I didn't want a ton of people's stuff there. Um, leaving their guitars and me being sort of at risk. I didn't contact my home insurance company, and so I was kind of doing it. I guess a little bit outside the rules and guidelines. So kept my clientele small, word of mouth. I got a lot of calls, and I'd always do my appointments via phone call. They'd call me, I'd be like, all right, well, meet me here at the house at this time, and I'll evaluate what you got and give you a price quote. Typical setups were around $75. Any issues that I had to address while doing the setup, I'd call the customer and let them know, hey, you got some wiring here that needs, redone. And I had, rates for wiring, putting in a new pickup, I forgot, $25. New pots, which is the volume and tone controls. Installing those, I would charge typically $10 per. All the soldering and the solder and the flux and all the stuff that I needed, I already had on hand. And like I said, all the measuring tools and whatnot, everything I needed, I already had. That's about it. We're about 7 minutes in, and I'm gonna wrap it up because I'm hoping this video will finally post and I can be done with this. Hope you enjoyed it. Have a great day.